Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's football show here on STV. The main talking points on tonight's programme: Brendan Rodgers wants Celtic to stay calm and sensible in their Champions League qualifier second leg against Astana. There's more travel problems for Aberdeen as they prepare for their Europa League return leg against Maribor in Slovenia. And Mark Warburton says he would have preferred tougher opposition for Rangers in their pre-season. Just a few of the talking points. We've got lots to talk about, not only the football from last night in the Iron Brew Cup, but also, Ruffy, the European games and transfer moves as ever will occupy our thoughts tonight. So, Brendan Rodgers, Celtic, they know what they have to do. Avoid defeat. If it's a game where they can keep a clean sheet, then they're through.
Yeah, the only thing I'm a wee bit worried about, maybe overconfidence. Job done, sort of, because they got the draw away from home. I think the game's still there to be won. I think everybody who's been to Parkhead for these big European game nights know that the opposition always make it very difficult. So I think it all depends, first 15, 20 minutes. You know, if they can get that breakthrough early on, then the opposition's got to decide what they're going to do to try and to get the tie back in their favour. So I think an early goal is important, but as I've said there on numerous occasions, Celtic supporters have been hanging on to the last 5-10 minutes of games, and European games particularly, so it could be a long night.
Yeah. Speaking of last night, Stanimir Stoilov, the coach of FC Astana, said, you know, he watched the way Shakhtar Karagandhi went about their business at Celtic Park. He said they were too defensive, which is ultimately why they lost by 3-0. They're not going to be sitting in, parking the bus. They've got to go out and have a go.
Yeah, well, I think that might be a good thing for Celtic. You know, it's always good when another team try and open up the game. We've saw it when teams start chasing the game. You know, they lose their formation, the gaps begin to appear. So it'd be good for Celtic, I think, if the team, you know, they try to have a go at Celtic. I think that would fall into Celtic's hands.
Yeah, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I just don't think Celtic should have too many problems. I can see the minimum 2 clear goals. I mean, you go right across the board. The bookies have them all. You know, you get 4-6 on Celtic.
Yeah, that's my worry. You know, that when you get the kind of facts like that, you know, people expecting, you know, an easy win. But European games, as we've saw with a lot of teams in there, they make it very, very difficult for you. And unless you actually do something special, you know, we've saw European nights when things aren't going well, and then Chris Commons comes up with an absolute screamer from nowhere. Things like that turn the game on its head. But certainly with the home advantage, with the support behind them, they should win.
Yeah, I think the only big dilemma is, you know, the back line is the first thing we're waiting to see. You know, does Kolo Toure come straight in? Will Efe Ambrose have any part to play? And of course, the overall approach of the team. This is what Brendan Rodgers had to say about Celtic ahead of the game tonight.
It's obviously important to get an away goal in European ties, but for us, our intent will be to win the game. We don't have to be stupid about it. We just got to be tactically good in the game, ensure that we have compactness throughout the team, and obviously have that fluency and speed in our game when we have it. And we think when we play that way, like we've done over pre-season, I've been really pleased with a lot of our moments over the course of pre-season. We still have areas to improve in our game, which is natural, but I've been very, very pleased, and we can take that level of game into the game tomorrow night. Then I'm sure we can get the win and get through into the final qualifying stage.
As ever with a new Celtic manager, they're almost caught on the hop when they have to perform immediately. Their team, I think this Celtic side is a long way away from where Brendan Rodgers wants it to be, not only in a starting 11, but the way they play as well. And as he mentioned there, Rolf, he doesn't need to be gung-ho.
No, it doesn't. The first thing you don't want to do is go behind. That's a certainty. So they need to be on the front foot. And Celtic have shown in European games, you know, they up the tempo and the passing's crisp, and they really have a go at the opposition, get them on the back foot. But I think it all depends, and as I said earlier, you know, the goal, when that goal comes, You know, the confidence that builds from that, not just for the players but for the supporters. The place will be absolutely bouncing, and it'll be very, very hard for the opposition to come back after that.
Okay, I think it's going to be a comfortable win, Ruffy. I know by the time we get to the repeat of this show, sometimes we can look mightily stupid, but that's what you want, opinions.
Yeah, I would be looking at possibly 2-0. At 1-0, you're always vulnerable. So as soon as the second one hits the back of the net, I think the Celtic supporters will be a wee bit more comfortable.
Okay, just a couple of points relating to players, a former Celtic player and one who's gone out on loan. We talked about it yesterday briefly on the show about Scott Allen to Rotherham, with an option for Rotherham to buy him at the end of the season. What a waste of a season at Celtic. You know, you can question, you know, why sign him in the first place. There are all sorts of, you know, social media suggestions here, there, and everywhere, which I don't really want to go down. I just think it was the wrong move.
I think from the playing side of it, I think the boy will be disappointed. But the fact that he's had the chance to go to a big team like Celtic or Rangers and experience what it's like to be at these two clubs.
What, kicking your heels?
Yeah, just being there, just being about the place, just being the way you're treated, the facilities. He's been part of some games. I think in hindsight, when he comes away from it, it will be a season playing wise missed. But the experience of actually being in that stadium and being about the place is a fantastic experience for any young kid. There are young players out there who'll never experience it. It's a year of your life.
No.
And I'm sure the wages that he got would be compensate, not compensate,
yeah.
not playing as often. But
yeah.
honestly, Peter, when you walk into Ibrox as a player, or walk into Parkhead, or walk into any big club, Arsenal, Man United, whatever, it's just, you get treated differently. Honestly, you get,
no, I'm sorry, Ruffy, I'm not buying into this one.
I know you're going as a play in the plane. Everybody, it's only 9 months of his career taken away from him. Yeah. He's got a lot to offer.
Scott Allen was at Dundee United, opted to go to West Brom, kicked his heels at West Brom, and a lovely club in the Barclays Premier League as well, sitting on the bench, sometimes playing in reserves. So yet again, he gets a run of trying to build up his reputation at Hibernian and then goes and kicks his heels at Celtic. I just don't see the value in it. That's a lot of years and a lot of game time that he could have had. I mean, it's just I think from the, Celtic have got so many midfielders. I just think it's a waste. Another man that's, again goes back to what you're talking about, and this is what the modern day footballer seems to be all about. There's Aidan McGeady, who is, if he's not a multi-millionaire, I'll be gobsmacked. He's not got a shirt number for Everton. He's on his way out. He's a player that I think is way above Celtic's wage bracket. But again, there's a career that I think unfulfilled with the potential that boy had.
Yeah, but again, I think Aidan McGeady falls into the modern day footballer. We don't see wingers like that. We don't see that many wingers the way he was. Getting the ball, going by people, putting balls into the box. You don't see that kind of player anymore. It's a different style, a player that clubs want. They want players to be team players. They want players like him tackling. They want something more out of them. And it depends on which club you go to, whether you can fit into that team as that kind of player.
Yeah, I'll tell you what they wanted more out of: delivery. Because when we were down at Everton talking to Graham Sharp, so many of the Everton backroom team at the time were mentioning they thought they had a player. First couple of games, curls one into the roof of the net. Everybody thinks McGeady coming from Spartak Moscow, this could be special. And then, the old habits of, what he used to do at Celtic, beat two men with a bit of skill, and then the ball goes over to the far corner flag.
And another thing as well, I don't know Eden at all, but from the outside looking in, maybe he's had too much too early. Maybe the luxury style that he's had, maybe he's taken his eye off the ball, the football side of it. He's everything. He's probably, as you said there, he's a millionaire. He's got everything he needs. Maybe he needs to get back to a football team and concentrate and actually doing what he's good at, and that's playing football.
Yeah, you can tell I'm ready for a fight tonight, Ruffy, can't you? Just ready to banter with you. Okay, right, apart from that, we are going to talk Aberdeen in the next part of the programme. We're also going to talk Rangers. Just one little footnote before the break, which is Fasil El Baktui to Dundee. We talked about it yesterday. It's all done and dusted, 3-year deal.
Yeah, good. Really impressive last year with Dunfermline. Paul's not hung about. You know, he's obviously going to lose his best 2 strikers, and to get a boy like that in is good. He's had a lot of success of players like that coming for the lower divisions. So yeah, he'll be confident if he can get somebody else in to play alongside him.
Yeah, no, every Dundee fan, fingers crossed that they don't lose Greg Stewart, although I have to say, I think that's imminent.
Yeah, I think it is. I think he's gone. You know, I don't think Dundee could turn down that kind of money.
Okay, coming up after the break, we're going to talk Aberdeen, more travel problems for them, but will it affect them in the match against Maribor? And we're going to talk Rangers and Mark Warburton next. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Alan Ruff is alongside me. Peter Martin, we've already discussed Celtic against Astana. What about Maribor versus Aberdeen? The Dons haven't been lucky with these chartered flights. They've been redirected to Dusseldorf. I don't think it upsets their plans too much. Derek McKinnon is certainly not making excuses, Ruff. He said, well, we trained in Aberdeen beforehand. This is just a case of we'll go down to dinner earlier.
Yeah, it's just a minor hiccup. You know, I don't think anybody likes hanging about airports, but certainly he's been professional enough to say it's not going to derail them. You know, they're totally focused on what they're going to do, and they'll be hoping that everything I said about the Celtic game, they'll be hoping that they can get something early on to put pressure under Maribor.
Yeah, if they are going to get something, they're going to have to look to somebody to score goals. I think all the hype and talk over the last 24 to 48 hours has been about Adam Rooney. He's obviously closing in on, hard to believe it, being one of the top scorers in European football for Aberdeen. I think he's level with Joe Harper, although Joe, as you know well, has suggested that maybe he had scored against slightly tougher teams than Adam Rooney has.
Yeah, and with no disrespect to Adam Rooney, I think Joe Harper's a better player, having played against him. Yeah, I think so. By a good bit, I may add. But no, if he can come up with a goal, I'm sure the supporters will take whatever records on go tomorrow night, because he will be a player, but they need to get supply to him.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, it's not really good having a quiz with yourself because you don't like things being sprung on you.
Right. Cool.
The 2 top Aberdeen scorers in Europe, there's one person in second place with 12 and one in first place on 14. Second. If you've read it, then just...
No, I haven't. I'll take a guess at John Hewitt.
John Hewitt, what, as the top scorer?
No, not as the top scorer.
Okay.
Alan Gordon.
And the top scorer, no.
Joe Harper.
No, it's not Joe Harper.
Who?
It's Mark McGee on 14.
Oh.
Oh, he's a fantastic player for Aberdeen.
14 goals, yeah.
Yep. You know,
John Hewitt anywhere.
He's second on 12.
I see, you weren't going to admit to that.
No, I just wanted to know if you wanted first or second on it. You know, that's the good thing about it, Ruffy. A wee quiz on the programme. I think they're going out. There you are.
No,
that's the good thing about this opinion, by the way.
I think this is the night that the Scottish football team is going to get. Tomorrow night is when they're going to get a wee rub of the green. Yeah. They're going to get something. They're going to get something out of the game that'll get them through.
Just out of curiosity, Ruffy, and I know sometimes our cameraman will be able to get the look on my face on Friday night's show. I want Aberdeen to go through. I just can't see it. I think they've blown it. But I really hope you're right. But if you're wrong, here's
here's the look.
No, here's the look. But give me your look if you get it right.
All right.
Right, okay. I'll hang on. I won't hold my breath for it. What about Mark Warburton? He was saying that he would have preferred a better pre-season. I think, unfortunately for Mark, because of the way he wants to build, he would have liked to have played a Premier League club in England, maybe a top championship side, or maybe a European team. But he got caught up. Obviously, Rangers have had to play these, games in the group stages of the League Cup. next season that won't be a problem. This is just the here and now and a throwaway quote from him. You can understand what he's looking. He's looking for the players to get a real test because of what's about to come.
Yeah, I'm sure he would like to play more games like the Burnley game, and maybe went down south to play a game. Yep, I can accept everything in that. But you're right, we've put out a new format. It's not just all about the big clubs. It's about other clubs in the country as well, and they've got to get something out of it as well. It will settle down. I'm sure when the winter break comes, Rangers will be able to play 2 or 3 quality games when they're having a rest. So I think we've just got to go along with everything that we throw up.
But I think Mark's mentioning that because you get the sense that the anger has just slowly but surely faded after the Burnley defeat. You could tell by making this statement that he really wanted tougher tests to get them sharper, to get that feeling of teams being in the players' faces, not they haven't got enough time.
Yeah, again, I can agree 100%. But again, I think they will be organised. I think the weekend there was just maybe a wee eye-opener, something he didn't think was going to happen. But and then he's just thrown this up to say, look, I told you so, look, this is what's happened. We've had one big game and we've been beaten. We'll like to test ourselves. But I think the season will test Rangers. I think there's a lot of testing games ahead, not only for Rangers, but for everybody else.
Yeah, okay. We've already had our predictions, and of course, hopefully you can join us on Saturday for the opening day of the season in Scotland. We'd love to have you along with us on STV Glasgow, STV Edinburgh, 2 o'clock, our 4-hour show. Murdo MacLeod, Gordon Smith and Ruffy will be with me here, bringing you updates from all the games across all 4 divisions and interacting with you as well. You can join us and give us your thoughts at Twitter at Peter and Ruffy and facebook.com/Peter and Ruffy. We'd love to hear from you. Hibs, Neil Lennon, 5-match European ban. Now, basically, this is UEFA handing it out for acts of violence against the referee. He wasn't happy with the goal that was chalked off. That should have been a goal. It could have changed Hibs' fortunes and got them involved in Europe a little longer. So you can understand Hibs are going to appeal it.
Yeah, I think they will appeal it. They'll probably get maybe 2 games taken off it. But again, this is just UEFA, just flexing their muscles. Just European. If European football comes along, they want to call the shots. And when they see anything like this, they just nip it in the bud very, very early. I'm sure when he does appeal it, they'll take a couple of games off.
Yep, okay. See, that's all your experience there, just the way UEFA works, Ruffy. Yeah, absolutely. Now, with regards to Hibs, have we made an approach for Brian Graham at Ross County? I think Jim McIntyre saying, look, I'm not interested, just, no thank you if you with your interest. I wonder, Brian Graham, is he the man? He's a tall striker. He's I think 11 goals in 17 starts.
Yeah, well,
he's had injuries.
Yeah, well, he Dundee United, he never got a chance.
Yep.
Then he went to St Johnstone, never really got a chance, but scored goals. And obviously Jim McIntyre sees at Ross County that he's got something to add with the 2 strikers that he's got that we're always talking about. So Neil's obviously seen something in him with the players that he's going to maybe try and bring in that could complement what he's got up front. See, we don't know what the boy Holt's going to be like that they brought up from England. So maybe he's just looking for somebody just to play off him.
Well, he's an experienced centre forward, and there's no doubt about his calibre, but he's at the tail end, the twilight of his career. This is a year 2 if you're lucky.
Yes,
and I'm not dismissing what he has to offer, because I think I've already suggested that Hibs will win this.
I'm just surprised that the managers don't see our wee pal, wee Keatons, as a regular.
Yeah.
He scores goals every time he comes on. He
scored at the weekend in the friendly as well.
And he scores any other time he comes on, and I would just like maybe to see him get an extended run. Instead of looking at other people. Yeah,
okay. What do you make of Abdul Osman's comments, just saying that he feels as if Alan Archibald, people maybe not giving him enough credit for the achievements at Partick Thistle?
Well, again, it's just because you're not one of the bigger clubs. A lot of the work that you do goes unnoticed, but certainly within the club, the board and the players, they realise the job that he does. And I think Alan now is getting more respect, and I think as the years go on, I think the Partick Thistle board maybe struggle to hold on to him, because the work that he does year in, year out is fantastic.
Okay, there's a couple of things that I think it's only right that we have a chat about, because it just highlights the madness of football. We're talking about Norwich City snatching Ross McCormack yesterday. 24 hours later, Fulham accept a bid from Aston Villa.
Yeah, I mean, money talks. I think they bid 10 million. They've bid 12.
Yeah,
£2 million. And I'm sure the player would, if preference, would probably go to Aston Villa. Because they've obviously got to improve. So I would think that would be a better club to go to.
And what does it tell you about football? I mean, the Paul Pogba thing is just dragging on. Will he? Won't he? I think some journalists trying to catch it and say he's definitely on his way when he's in America. Actually, he mentioned to one of the fans that he was staying at Juventus. You never know what's going to happen. But what about the deal? £65 million, Chelsea trying to buy back Romelu Lukaku.
I think if we were to get a piece of paper and a pen and noted players who have been at clubs for whatever reason, and whatever reason a manager has let them go, and now they're trying to get them back again, how much money they would have saved the club in the long run. There's lots of players have been taken for granted and let go.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, well, that's just about it from Ruffy and myself. Hopefully you can join us tomorrow on the programme. We'll be reflecting on Celtic's game against Astana, and also we'll be getting ready for the big build-up to the big kick-off in the Premiership, Championship, League 1 and League 2 in Scotland. Thanks for listening tonight. Join us at 7 tomorrow.